What is going on YouTube? My name is James and welcome to today's video. Today, by request from one of my previous videos about how to improve your microphone audio, I'm going to be addressing the effects that I placed onto the audio, what they do and why I've done them, just to help people who are going to get into the audio space a little bit more and understand what these effects can do from before and after, rather than just applying them and say, oh yeah, just apply this one because it does something good. I'm going to be explaining what they do and why they're necessary. I'm on Adobe Audition 2020. If you guys haven't upgraded, I would, because there's some really great features in this new one. Since my last video, there's been quite a few new additions to the Audition effects panel. So yeah, we're going to go over some of the new ones. So I may not address all of the older ones that I did in my previous video, but I will try and address as many as I can, plus some extra ones to help you guys improve, because there's been some amazing things. For an example, one of the effects now on the noise reduction, we have de-reverb and de-noise. These can actually eliminate the whole point of using the previous one that I stated, which was the noise reduction process and capture part. Right, so let's just record a little bit of audio. Just call it test. By the way, if you are going to be using, say this is for a video project, I would stick to the 48,000 Hertz just because it's easier to synchronize in Premiere Pro. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. What a beautiful thing. Let's listen to that. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. Now you can hear there is a little bit of a plosive there. I apologize if you can actually hear that in the video. I am using the microphone that I did for my Budget XLR setup, just to show you guys what it sounds like as well throughout this video. So what I always do is start off, if it's too quiet, I mean this one's not too bad, but you can always increase it by doing Control A or Command A, heading up to Effects, Amplitude and Compression, and Normalize. So this just brings up the part I'm going to do up to -6. You can see along here on the right hand side, nothing touches -6 at the moment, so if you can push these bits up, as long as there's nothing too major like these ones we might need to pull down in a minute, but for now we'll do that and pushes these up a little bit so it's a bit louder. So this deafening, hopefully. So once we've done that, we are going to look for some noise. So this at the end looks not quite promising. Got a little bit there, we might have a little bit. We're going to go for this. So we are just going to take this here, I'm just highlighting it by holding down left click. We're going to go over to Effects. You go to Noise Reduction that we did last time, and you can actually just click on Noise Reduction. Now Noise Reduction itself is quite obvious in the name that any sort of noise apart from the vocals, we're going to try and reduce that. So by selecting the Noise Reduction panel, we're going to do Capture Noise Print. Now make sure this is highlighted here on Audition, and then just click Capture Noise Print, and it takes this part here, it's going to analyze it. And then we're going to have these dials down here. So how out of 100%, how much you want to dial it in? Obviously 100% is only going to be your vocals, but it's going to start dramatically decreasing the quality of the audio. So we want to kind of find that perfect medium. Now I normally go for around 50%. You can see here this green line is what is going to be cutting off all this red crap, the lows. Honestly, the low is probably the humming of my computer, will be the low frequencies, maybe the fan that I've got in the background. And obviously the highs are going to be my voice, and this is the threshold, as you can see by the green thing here. So by increasing it, you can play it a little bit and see what it does, but it's really just sort of tinkering and playing around. Don't be afraid to say, oh yeah, I whacked up to 90 because I thought it would be good. You click apply and you're like, oh bollocks, let's go. So this doesn't sound too bad actually, but if it sounds sometimes when there's some serious echo or something, and you think, oh no, I've just done it, I can't. Sometimes if you saved it, you can't do Control Z or Command Z. Just down here, if you get the history panel up, or go to Window, History, make sure that's ticked. You can actually click back between the versions that you've done, so you can see what Normalize did there. But yeah, so for me, it's just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. Let's go. To be honest, it wasn't actually that bad. I'm quite surprised, but yeah, just here, you can see dramatically from that. There you go. So you can see even just from the wave pattern, it's taken out. So noise reduction is reducing the noise, basically. A new feature they've actually added to Audition 2020 is, it might have been actually in previous versions, but the one that I've noticed is denoise. Now this is a computer generated version rather than you selecting the specific noise print. This is going to do it for you. Now I think this is quite good, but you have to be very careful. Because if you bump up too high, same with the noise reduction, it's going to start causing some audio quality issues. But we can have a listen to see what it does. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. That's not too bad. I am going to apply that just for the sake of it, and it doesn't really change much. I may change things right at the end, just slightly down here at the bottom right, if I quickly just show you. Yeah, denoise is basically the computer generated version of noise reduction, and the noise reduction is reducing, say, echo, say low frequencies like your computer or your fan, or maybe there's people talking in the background, say you might be outside. That is what noise reduction does. And remember, normalize is bringing these lows and high frequencies a bit closer together and obviously bumping them up. For me, I brought it up to -9 and -6. Right, so in the next thing I am going to do to this audio, it's going to come down to single band compressor. These are the ones we're looking at. Now, if any of you guys have dealt with noise gates, stuff like that, basically this has a very, very similar thing. You have a TAC, which is how quickly or slowly this effect, the single band compressor, is going to work on your audio. So the threshold, which is for -16 for me, it's going to add that compressor once it goes past -16, and then it's the release once it comes down, how long it's going to take. Obviously these are in milliseconds, so it's not going to be 100 seconds or 100 meters or whatever you want to see that as. It's going to be very, very quick, but you need to sort of play around your audio. Say for me, a voiceover, because there's not going to be much noise in the background that we've removed, it's going to be a lot easier to have the attack maybe or release a little bit lower. Just because there's not going to be anything crazy in the background that we're trying to get rid of. So I'm just going to apply these because obviously this is a voiceover that I've done, but obviously you sort of need to, it's circumstantial really, whatever works for you. But I hope that helps explain the compressor. You can obviously research what a compressor does. Obviously I'm not an audio expert at all. I just create YouTube videos and do some filming, but this is all learned from experience rather than education. Going to apply that. I'll add a little bit of thickness to it, make it sound nice, bring those low and high frequencies together to make it sound a bit more normal. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. Just remember, this is a £40 microphone, an XLR microphone, so please take that in consideration before you say, well, this is the shittest microphone you've ever heard. Anyway, so we're going to head up to effects now. Also, for the noise reduction area, if you've got a lot of reverb, so a lot of echoey, say you're in a big cathedral, you're in a big hall, to do that, to save rather than doing noise capture, you can do de-reverb, which is absolutely beautiful. It's the same sort of thing as denoise, all computer augmented, and it really, really works very well. So just have a play around with that. And these 2020 updates have really, really helped people struggling who are trying to make some good audio, but they don't know how to do, say, noise reduction, normalizing, stuff like that. It does help. What we're going to do is go to filter and EQ. We're going to go to parametric equalizer. So a parametric equalizer lets you take control of different frequencies in your voice. So say you've got quite a high voice, you can bring the highs down or the highs up. So you've got a very low voice, you want to accentuate those low tones. That's why I've gone for these low frequencies and these high frequencies. I'm going to change mine to loud as maximizer. So you've got the low shown by the low frequencies, and we've got the high by the high frequencies. You can see here, obviously you can enable these. You can have every frequency known to man, and tinker with them to make your voice sound a lot better. But yeah, a parametric equalizer in the simplest terms is basically you have constant live control over different frequencies of your voice. So say there's a really, really irritating, you have quite a high pitched voice, unfortunately, God has not given you a nice low tone voice. You can bring those a little bit down so they're not as so piercing for people to hear. That's why I would go loud as maximizer just for the voiceovers, because we just want to deal with the high and low frequencies. What we're going to do is we're going to press spacebar, and it's going to play this, what we selected. Remember to do Control or Command A. And what we're going to do is going to listen out and see if we can tinker with the lows, make it a bit more deeper, a bit more richer, and see what we can do. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. I like that, not too bad. I tinkered the highs just a little bit there. I'm quite happy with the lows. The lows aren't too bad on this condenser microphone, so I'm fairly happy with this. But obviously, you guys need to sort of tinker around with it, see what you can get. But yeah, the parametric equalizer is taking control of different frequencies and helping create a more rich and nicer sounding voice. We're going to just click apply here. I'm just going to do that, and we're seeing getting quite nice clear audio. We've got these nice little breaks where we can see where there's not too much audio. We have got this little plosive. So if you guys are dealing with plosives, that's the harsh P and S words, and not swear words, just the actual, say, a picnic or a shoe. You have those sounds that are probably horrible that you just heard. What we're going to do is we're going to hold down on left click, and we're going to select over this. Now, obviously, what we're going to do is we're going to come up to amplitude and compression. We're going to do normalize just to bring this down a little bit so it joins these other parts of the audio. What we're going to do, I'm going to do -12 because I can see there's some parts here that are -12. Obviously, we don't want to bring it too far down to like -21 because the pronunciation of these words, they won't sound as normal if you bring them too far down. What we've done here, so rather having them very piercing, and obviously that's not very good. You know, it's just sometimes audio editing is about common sense, really. You're listening for things that are off, things that are going to stop people watching your videos, because obviously a lot of people believe, and so do I, that audio is far more important than video. I'm willing to watch, you know, a 480p video with some really, really nice, rich sounding audio rather than a 4K or 8K video with absolute awful sound. If having bad sound, it takes you out of the experience of watching a video. Yeah, so by just eliminating these anomalies, it just does help. I hope that makes sense in terms of why we are doing these certain things to clear it up, make it sound a lot nicer. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. So we've done a little bit more there. I'm fairly happy with this, but we're just going to go over what we did to the file. So we started off where we recorded it. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. Okay, so that was the recorded. Then we normalize it to bring up some volume. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. You can hear right at the end, you can hear that fan and that humming working. So what we're going to do is then we added the noise reduction. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. And then we added that new denoise feature just to clean up any little bits at the end. If you watch the bottom right here, you'll see these tiny little things that the computer is able to clear up. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. We added a single band compressor to bring those low and high frequencies together to help it a bit more of a complete package. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. So I hope you guys saw there the reason we added that single band compressor. If we go back to the denoise, you can see these low frequencies aren't very high in terms of loudness, but as soon as you do that, they bump up nice, and it sort of brings those things together to help a richer sounding audio. Then we added the parametric equalizer that we talked about to take control of these certain frequencies. My voice can sort of change. It can have quite a high tone and it can have quite a low tone, so just bringing those two together. And obviously it's very situational on what you want to do. These things that I'm showing you, don't just copy down all these settings. Have a tinker around with it, play around to find the correct thing for that situation that you've been recording on. Let's go. So this is just an audio test to show how different elements of my audio work and how to improve certain parts. That is sounding lovely now, and lovely. And then we just did a normalize just to bring down those plosives, because obviously we're bringing these things up through, you know, the parametric equalizer and the compressor, and they're quite loud. You probably saw that before they were hitting improve. They would start hitting to this -5 sort of area, so we brought that down. Improve. Now it doesn't even go above -9. So that is how to clear up voiceover. So you've got a good condenser microphone or a shotgun microphone. These are very, very good. But if you're, say, recording off a lavalier, it might be a little bit different in the way you do it. But certain elements such as the denoise to help remove echo or background noise are really, really useful. I hope this helped, guys. If there's anything else you want me to go over, say noise gates, finding out the correct amplitude to help you guys remove that audio, say, from your podcasts, drop a like and leave a comment. Thanks very much, guys, for watching. If there's anything else you want me to cover, drop it down in the comments. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope this helped. Goodbye.